All right, man. So I know you're just as juiced as I am because after listening to Ken on Tuesday, we started talking about, okay, so what can we implement? What can we throw out there? What can we talk about for agents with our company? So kind of what were your biggest takeaways and what did you really get from listening to Ken on Tuesday?
Yeah. Let me start out by just saying shout out to Darwin for lining up
Yeah.
Ken on that Hot Topic Tuesday deep dive. That was awesome. If you missed it, go check out the HRC Development Learning channel. You're going to get a lot of value out of it. But yeah, it was eye opening kind of listening to Ken, honestly. And what he does is really simple. So I was talking to my agents the other day at a sales meeting. Because after that, and I'm sure you were thinking the same thing along with everybody else, this Ken Pozak guy is pretty remarkable, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like he is. It's remarkable what he did coming from Metro Detroit. What did he go to Orlando in 2017? And from there, he's scaled this business to what it was like two. I can't remember how many million they're going to sell this year. It was 250 or something like that.
Yeah. Around 250. Yeah.
Insane. So he's built that business of 250 million in volume since 2017. I mean, he is remarkable. But it had me thinking, like, and I know we kind of talked about it a little bit too. Like, there's when you look at Ken, like, there's nothing like extraordinary. Like looking at him, he's kind of like kind of nerdy, like a tech guy, right?
Yeah.
Right. I know we were all thinking it. And sometimes in this business, you think, wow, the power players, they're always in the suits, and all that good stuff. But no, it's like he's just being him. And I think that we all have remarkableness in us. First of all, we're all humans,
Right. Right.
right? But that in and of itself, that separates us from dogs, cows, amoebas, whatever, right? You give humans a piece of land, we can build on it, right?
Right.
We can build a house, we can plant a garden. Dogs can't do that, right? What other life form can do that, right?
Right.
So
Right.
I was thinking like that, like we all have remarkable in us. We're all remarkable already. But what Ken did was found his piece of land to build on, his space to build on. And he planted a garden. Now he's reaping the benefits of it, building this amazing business. But his piece of land was what?
Video.
Video,
Yeah.
YouTube,
There's video.
YouTube. And that was his piece of land. He said, for 100 days, I'm posting one video each single day. And that's how he built his his business and his system and all that from that. So like that was one of my biggest takeaways. It's like you don't have to be anything massively special. You already are. You just got to find that piece of land to build on.
Yeah, and once you find that piece of land, like we talk about with everything else, it goes with anything that you do. It requires an incredible amount of consistency, right? Like you just mentioned, 100 videos in 100 days. I mean, forget about videos. When's the last time you consistently did something for 100 days in a row? I mean, that's
So
crazy, right?
I woke up.
Right? I woke up. That's the only thing really. I woke up and hopefully showered and brushed your teeth. But other than that, like what in eight, like what else can you actually do that consistently? But
Yeah.
that all stems from, there's not really what's the difference between someone who's remarkable and someone who's average. It's the amount of consistency and self-discipline that they have and the actions they choose to take in and day out. So I know I took a bunch of stuff out of it. One of the biggest things that I got was how I never even thought about doing it, but we're missing the boat a lot on YouTube. So I mean, I started my YouTube channel like less than a year ago, and it's building, but you can leverage it to passively market to your sphere, which I never even thought about.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Utilizing YouTube links. I mean, it's so
Yep.
easy to grab the link, copy it, and throw it anywhere. So yeah, we were talking about that, and we were talking about how for a second, like it's kind of like what Tom Ferry used to say. It's like become the mayor of your area, mayor of your town, and
Yep.
that's a little bit of what he does with Orlando. He's showing you if you're moving to Orlando, you got to check out this place. You got to see this neighborhood. This is what this neighborhood's about. Here's what the schools are looking like. You were just shooting one in Clarkston talking about the schools, right?
Yep. Yep.
Cool,
Yep.
cool.
So after I heard that, I'm like, okay. I grabbed an agent in my office. We're like, let's go do some stuff, right? And it was funny too because it was pretty windy that day. So I just took my phone and I shot a bunch of stuff outside. And I got back. I'm like, all right, I'm super excited. Let's put it together. The audio is literally unusable, like on the outside video. So I'm like, okay, so I got to get creative. I have all this footage from outside, but I can't use it. So how do I make it work? So I just came back and shot another video of me sitting here talking about the footage that I went. So like I'm like, okay, for example, I actually went onto the football field and I talked about the football program. So I just came back here, started talking about the football program, and then I broke it to the actual footage of me walking outside. So you got to get creative.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, it's just simple stuff: schools, local restaurants, local bars, good gyms. Like, people want to know about their local community, and that's what's going to provide valuable content and get them to engage, as opposed to just talking about what everyone else is talking about.
Oh man, absolutely. And that goes back to offering value, one,
Yep.
you know, and that those are so I also had three other key takeaways from Ken that I wrote down. You and I discussed a little bit. It was the main takeaway for me was always starts with offering value. No matter what video you do, leave alone the who do you know? Are you looking to buy or sell? Who you know is looking to buy or sell? Hey, that's great sometimes for one-on-one conversations or contacting your SOI after you've already built that relationship. Then you can ask. But every video, everything you do marketing wise should offer value.
Yep. Yep.
Number one. Number two takeaway that I got was it has to be relevant information. It has to
Hmm.
be relevant information, not super generic or anything like that. So whether it's what the market is doing, uh, local market updates regarding numbers, explaining what's happened. I mean, because the news has so many, clickbait articles out there. And that was one of the questions I asked him. I was like, so how do you get inspiration for your content and all that relevant content? He was like, I just sometimes just talk about what the news is talking about,
Yeah.
Google, the
Yeah.
hot news stories. So I really
Absolutely.
like that idea and just talking about that. I mean, literally read an article and just talk about it. It's super easy video. Even easier if you can talk about it with somebody else, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And the other thing that kind of stuck out to me, which I kind of knew about, but I didn't realize the importance of it, is the presentation of everything. I
Mhm.
mean, like, even using thumbnails, even keeping top of mind of a heading that's going to draw attraction,
Yep.
making sure that your lighting is good, making sure that your angle is good, like making sure all that stuff. Presentation is important. I mean, you got to grab someone's attention real quick because there's so much stuff out there. So if you don't have like an attractive thumbnail, if you don't have an intriguing headline, if you don't
Mhm.
have good quality content that's shot, even though it's great content, if the presentation isn't good, it loses that impact, and people may just scroll right past it.
Yep. Yep. That's exactly right. So paying attention to every detail.
Yep.
Absolutely. The third one I took away was got to be searchable.
Mm.
You have to be searchable, and that's why he attacks YouTube so hard and Google. And he was clear. I don't spend any money on advertising, which is, I mean, that's some unicorn stuff for sure. I don't recommend. I mean, maybe at first you might want to start using some advertising until you get to that point, right? It took him a
Hmm.
long time, but either way, becoming searchable. And I know I've heard Bob scream it from the mountaintops 1,000 times. Google's the number one search engine. You got to be on Google, but who's number two, right? It's YouTube, and
YouTube.
they're both the same company.
Hmm.
So he's offering a ton of value consistently. It's relevant information, and he is highly searchable, and that's why he's getting organic leads and not having to cold call all the time.
Yeah. I mean, that's a crazy thing too, because like, we know the old-fashioned cold calling does work, and that should be part of your business. But at the same time, how many of you don't like doing that? None of you do. Like none of us like doing it. It's just
Yeah,
uncomfortable. So
it's
if
work.
you're constantly touching your sphere with valuable, updated, current content that they're going to be interested in, and sending it out to them once a month through a long form video through YouTube, one, you're contacting your people 12 times a year. You're giving them valuable information that they're actually looking forward to. They're actually going to watch it, and they may even share it. So you're actually even leveraging your own sphere of influence to help you grow your channel and your presence online, as
Hmm.
well as keeping in touch with sphere of influence. So I mean, it's like and it's free. It's
It's free.
easy.
Absolutely. So I definitely don't want to let the point fall that hey, this is all good and great. Anybody can do this. Again, we're all remarkable. We can all do this, but the consistency is what matters.
Yep.
The details is what matters. And in the details, and what I think all successful business owners have in some sort, especially real estate agents, you have to have some sort of systems and processes for this marketing, right? So just like you said, like if you shoot that video, what are you doing with it, right? Are you just sending it to one time, one email and done? Right? Or are you gonna kind of diversify and say, okay, I can take a clip from this. Alex does this a lot. Take a clip from this, post it on social. You want to hear more? You got to go to my YouTube channel. Great. The other layer to that is maybe taking that video and adding it to a blog or a clip of that video, adding it to a blog, and then you've just got your script.
Yep.
from there of everything you said in the video. It could be literally the exact same words that were on the video of you talking. Now it's just written, and now you have a blog. And if
Hmm.
you don't know, with your Moxie websites, you've got a blog area. So that's something to think about for
Not
sure.
only that, but we've been talking about, and I've been leaning into circle prospecting pretty heavy recently because I
Hmm.
feel like that's a huge lead generation source that we're missing. And
Yeah.
we have access to the leads to Remine. So you can even shoot a just listed, just sold, or just an introduction video of yourself to a market that you want to be in. So
Hmm.
let's just say, like, for example, I have an agent who's shifting over to Lake Orion market. They want to be more in that market because she wants to increase her average sales price. So we talked about putting together a not only an introduction video, but she's going to contact some local builders and ask to do a home tour of a new construction in the area. So she's
Hmm.
going to promote the builder's property. She's going to talk about the new construction. She's going to talk about the surrounding areas, what's around that house, the schools, so on and so forth. And then she's going to pull all the emails around that area through Remine and then mass email it out to an email marketing campaign, introducing herself, letting people know she's in the Lake Orion market, and immediately off the bat, offering value, talking about new construction, talking about the finishes, talking about the surrounding areas, talking about what the area has to offer. And that's something that people want to know, especially if it's local.
Gosh, 100%. And think about the relationships that she's going to be building. She starts bringing buyers to that builder.
Right.
I mean, who knows what could happen? I mean, maybe, home building hopefully is kicking up soon. We're not there yet, but I love that idea. That's excellent.
Yeah, you just got to think outside the box, man. I mean, you got to get creative. I mean, we were talking about this too. It's a wild west out there. It's a crazy market. And so we're looking for any way possible that we can generate leads from wherever we can and the most cost effective as we can. And this is by far the most efficient, the most cost effective way that I know of, and that's video.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So I just wanted to get back to systems and processes. I know we
Yeah,
kind of
yeah.
talk about that a lot, and a lot of people just don't take it seriously, but every successful business has some sort of system and process, right? So, one, what's a system, right? A system is, it's the what of your business, essentially. It's the what of your business. It's the methodical way you provide service or value to the people out there, right? So that's your system is your what, and then your processes is your how. How are you going to deliver that to them? How are you going to get them that value? So think about that. And that's exactly what we're talking about with diversifying. Okay, I make a video. What is my system and process behind making that video? Okay, it goes to YouTube first.
Hmm.
Then what? Then it is a short clip on Facebook and Instagram. Okay, then I gotta put the link in my bio. Okay, now I want to take this link and maybe then I go to my email list, right? Just you have to have a system and process for everything.
You do, 100%. And look, I'm not gonna lie, it takes time. You got to invest time to figure out how you shoot the videos, how you edit them, how you upload them, how you do all that stuff. But I'm telling you, it is worth every second of you doing it. Everything I learned on video, I got from a YouTube video. Like I learned everything myself through YouTube, and it's simple if you invest the time to do it. And that's a huge difference between, average, okay content and professional looking quality content because that's going to drag and attract the consumer's eye. Like you want your message to be heard from as many people as possible. And that goes back to presentation and that system, having that system in place to create as much efficiency as possible so you can continue to increase that workload as you do more.
That's exactly right, man. That's exactly right. Huge nugget right there for sure. And so I do want to go back to why we're talking today because we were like, yeah, we got to talk about something. And Ken was talking about his marketing. And I told you, I've been on a marketing kick lately, just trying to absorb as much information as I can,
Yep.
trying new things like that, testing it out. By the way, sometimes you got to try and you got to test and see if it works first. All right. That being, but we were talking about, and I don't know if we started the call off like this, but I heard an agent call this current real estate market and moving forward, it's like the Hunger Games,
Yeah.
right? And a couple of numbers kind of support that I pulled up. And again, this is from May, but just nationally, think about these two numbers and what it could mean for you. So nationally, National Association of Realtors reported that their membership grew to 1.58 million members, which is up from 1.56 million members at the end of 2021. That's
Mm.
a lot more people. So, okay, so now we have more agents entering the market still since then in 2021. And then check out this number. Pending sales this past May, pending sales dropped 2.7% from the previous month of April. So let's see, sales are going down, pending sales are going down, but membership's still up. It kind of is like the Hunger Games.
It is.
And I'll tell you what, now is not the time, which is why we're talking about this. Now is not the time to start slashing marketing and doing less. Now's the time to kick it up a notch. Maybe you got to get a little uncomfortable, maybe spend a little bit of money on your business right now.
Mhm.
But if you don't, you're going to get left in the dust quick, I think.
Yeah, you got to take action, right? And you got to think outside the box. I mean, like you said, there's more now, more agents in the business now with less business closing, which
Mm.
means you got to find creative ways to generate more business, find creative ways to find off-market leads to find that business because there's more people now fighting for less amount of business,
Yeah,
right? And the
yeah,
cream's always going to rise to the top. So if you don't adapt, if you don't get creative, if you don't double down not only on your investment financially, but also your time to learn these things, it's not going to happen.
nope, nope, it's not. So you got to think about what the heck are you going to start doing for you and your business that might be different from anybody else, or that you can do relatively easy or cheap or consistently, and
Mhm.
hopefully all of those combined,
Yes.
right?
And
Ideally. So, what might some of those big things be? Do you got any ideas for them, Alex?
yeah, so I mean, well, first I would say whatever you choose, it's never going to work unless you're disciplined. I mean, you got to be consistent with it. You have to have a system in place. You got to be disciplined. So number one, obviously we know leaning on sphere of influence. Sphere of influence needs to be the foundation of our business, talking to our past clients consistently. That doesn't mean bothering them for business, but just building that relationship over time so you're top of mind. Second thing I would strongly encourage you to look into, which is circle prospecting. So anytime you just take a listing, you should be hitting that neighborhood. Anytime you're holding an open house, you should be hitting that neighborhood. Anytime it goes under contract, hit the neighborhood again. And then when it closes, that's 4 touch points you've now hit in that neighborhood. So if someone's thinking about selling, which oftentimes a neighbor's house will go up after one sells, they're going to be your top of mind because you've already been established and they've seen what it is you do to work properties. Not
Hmm.
only that, but how many of us have buyers right now that we can't find anything for?
Right.
So we got to get off market properties, go after expireds, go after unconditional withdrawals, go after for sale by owners, pull neighborhoods to find, go door knock, right? It
Which is just
requires
circle
more work.
prospecting, by the way.
Yes, it is circle prospecting. So it just, you got to double down on your effort. You got to double down on your investment, both financially and sweat equity
Yep.
if you're going to make it. It's as simple as that. You got to do more.
That's right. Got to do more. I love that. So let's build on that. That was one of my things that I had written down to offer the audience today. Tip. Right now, we should be leveraging every listing and buyer closed as much as possible. Even if it's not your listing, it's your office's listing. Leverage it if you can. So, what could you do to leverage that? Again, it's all the things that you just mentioned: circle prospecting, door knocking, calls, whatever, um, postcards, things like that. So, again, what would circle prospecting sound like for you guys who don't know what that would be? That would be like, hey, knock, knock, knock. I'm James. I just, listed the house down the street from you on 234 Main Street. Um, and that when that sells, that's going to affect the value of your house. So I just stopped by to share that information with you. Do you have 2 minutes? And if they're like, yeah, great. I just listed it. We're listing it for this. We've already got this many showings. Da 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 da. Do you have any questions about the market? Have you had any thoughts about selling? No. Here's my card. Great. Call me if you have anything. Boom. Done. Super
Yep.
simple.
Mhm.
Super simple. So let's leverage our listings. Let's leverage our buyers closed. I mean, send out postcards. If you don't got the money, send out postcards, print them yourself, and stick them indoors. Um, I just thought about this after. Well, again, I want to touch base. Postcards are super easy to do and cheap through Remind. By the way, I know we were talking about Remind Circle Prospecting, but
Yep.
you can grab any neighborhood list, download it, add it to your cart, and then create postcards. They got all kind. You can do yellow letters, white letters, large jumbo postcards. They're kind of generic, but you can customize them, colors, everything, and it's like just clicks, and you just design it, and they send it out. They send you a copy. Really easy to do. So I was thinking like, what could you do for a buyer close? And I was trying to think of something really creative that honestly I have not heard this yet. So I'm curious if you have. What if you close a buyer in a great neighborhood and now you're like, okay, let's see if anybody else is thinking about selling in this neighborhood. What would you share with them, or what could be a reason for them to respond to your ad, your postcard, whatever? And I thought of this tagline, putting on a postcard, bold font. I think you're gonna love this. You won't believe what my buyer had to do to get this home. Scan this QR code to find out.
Oh, I
Takes you
like
to
it.
a YouTube video.
Oh, I like it. That's a great idea.
Yeah. Oh, and then you say, yeah, my seller got 5 offers in 5 days. We went 20 grand above list price. We're closing this day. Like that. If that information is interesting to you, and you want more, we should connect. Something simple like, I love that idea.
That's a great idea. Is that yours? Where'd you get that
That's
from?
why I'm telling you, I came up with it just before this call.
That's a great freaking idea. I love it.
Well, I got buyers out there. We're writing incredible offers. I mean, we're talking about, he's a first-time home buyer, but we're talking going, 10 grand over, $5,000 appraisal guarantee, $5,000 EMD, paying closing fee, paying seller, state, and county transfer taxes, 60 days free occupancy, still getting beat out.
Yeah.
Still getting beat out. Right.
Yep.
That's happening. So I was thinking of my clients. I was like, what can we creative? You wouldn't believe what my buyer had to do to buy this home.
I
Scan this
love that.
QR code to watch, to learn more.
That's a great one. And to kind of piggyback on that, I have agents too, where same situation. They have buyers, they can't find him anything. And so he went off market, knocked on a couple doors, talked to some sellers, and got a couple listings out of it. So not only do they have to sell, but they have to buy in return too. So even though he hasn't found those particular houses for his buyer, he did find his buyer house eventually. But
Yeah.
that actually led to additional business, which is what you're talking about, leveraging your current business, both buyer and seller. So
Mhm.
that in itself is a lead source, but you have to leverage it. You can't just go through the transaction, then not even ask for a review at the end. I mean,
Right.
that in itself is a lead source. You got to leverage it.
It really is. It really is. And it made me think about, a long time ago, I heard somebody say, I can't remember, maybe Jared James or something. Hey, you have a budget for a marketing budget for your sellers. Why don't you have a marketing budget for your buyers?
Yeah, it's
And
true.
that's where that comes in. Maybe it's
Yeah.
postcards with a really creative tagline that takes them to one of your social channels. And now they're like, oh, wow, this guy's pretty good. Subscribe.
That's a great freaking idea. So if you don't take that QR code about the buyer thing, then you guys you're missing out big time. So I know we got a ton of stuff that we could talk about. We're over 20 minutes. Is there anything else you want to throw out there? Maybe we do a part 2 with this.
Yeah, let's do a part 2. I think that I've definitely got more marketing ideas that are simple to execute. Even just sending letters to SOI. But again, it's in the details, right? It's not just a
Hmm.
generic letter from a script or something you downloaded. It's genuine. It's offering value, and of course, you got to have these calls to action. So I'd love to share more about that. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe what we can do next time is maybe you put together like that flyer you were talking about to where you wouldn't believe what my buyer had to do, and then we can pull it up and you can talk about a little more about the wording and the verbiage as well as the cards you send out to your sphere. So maybe we can just kind of build upon this and just do a part 2.
Yeah, I love it. Let's do it.
Cool. I just plan on doing that.
All right.
I love it. Closing thoughts. Anything else you want to throw out there before we do part 2?
No, closing thoughts. I guess it's July. We're almost midway through July. We got
Yep.
5.5 months left of the year. Again, now is not the time to start dialing things back, getting, slashing your marketing and all that. If you are going to, because of budgetary concerns, you better get your butt in action, physically in action, out there talking to people on the phones, things like that. But again, now's the time to start taking your business seriously. Start learning more. We have so many resources within this company. And I just think about what would happen if you dedicated yourself once a week to taking learning more about Moxie every single week, meeting with Bob regularly, building out your website, building your SEO, right? Which is, do you know what SEO stands for? I know a lot of people don't even know what SEO
Search
stands
engine optimization.
for. Big time, big
Yeah.
time. Become searchable. So that's what I would say. Let's start taking our business seriously. We still got a lot of time left this year. You can still reach your goals, but we got to take massive action.
Yep, 100%. Take massive, consistent action. And now, yes, we're through June. We're in the middle of July. We're almost to August. So now is a great time, too, to really look at your annual business plan. We're halfway through the year. Are you on track? If not, why not? What's working? What's not working? What do we need to double down on? What do we need to fix? How's your scheduling? How's your time blocking, right? So really is a great time to self-analyze, figure out what's working, what's not working. You got to double down. If you're on track, keep your foot on the gas. If you're not, make the necessary tweaks and invest in your business, both financially and time, sweat equity, because it's required. We got to go above and beyond to succeed in the business that we're in right now in the market. So hope you guys got some value out of this. Shoot us a message if you did, and be on the lookout for part 2 because that will be coming soon as well.
Yep, awesome. Thanks, Alex.